Welcome back to Been There, Watch That. We're on episode number 39. And this week,
I gotta say, you said that a little late. I'd already hit the start button.
You had what?
I'd already hit the start button when you're like, "Hey, what show are we on?"
Oh,
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. I was like,
Behind
"Yep."
the scenes there.
About the time I hit the button, like, wait a minute. I was like, "Too late. I'm already."
At this point, if nobody has it figured out of just the level of professionalism we have here,
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was scrambling there. Had to figure out the episode number. This is Joe's pick this week. Welcome back, everybody.
Joe.
We're here to review another movie. This one, we're going back to 1989 for Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck, a John Hughes film.
Yes.
John Candy, front and center on this one.
Yeah.
He's got a special quality to him. I don't know what it is, but it's just fun when he's on screen.
He's got an automatic smile and just that chuckle and laugh and the way he presents himself, the expression on his face. Yeah, I agree. Give us a rundown.
All right.
Uncle Buck.
All right, so rundown. So when Cindy and her husband Bob have to leave town for a family emergency, there's only one person available to babysit their 3 kids. And that's Bob's lazy, carefree brother, Buck. While he immediately gets along with the 2 younger children, Buck must change his bachelor lifestyle if he wants to be a responsible caregiver for the angst-filled teenager Tia.
Yeah.
So you guys ready for the casting call?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so as Justin mentioned, this movie stars John Candy, and he plays Buck Russell. And Mr. Candy's known for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Spaceballs. One I completely forgot that he was in is Blues Brothers, which you can find in our archives, and also Home Alone, which you can find in our archives as well. Next up is Macaulay Culkin. He plays Miles Russell, and he's known for Home Alone, which is in our archives, Home Alone 2, The Good Son, and My Girl. Jean Louisa Kelly plays Tia Russell, and she's known for Yes Dear, Mr. Holland's Opus, and Ant-Man. Amy Madigan plays Shanice Kobolowski, and she's known for Field of Dreams and Streets of Fire, which you can go back and review in our archives.
And which character was she?
Shanice,
The girlfriend.
the tire shop lady.
Right, okay. Got it.
Laurie Metcalf plays Marcy Dahlgren Frost, and she's known for Roseanne, The Big Bang Theory. And here's one, guys, I completely forgot about. I didn't even know. She was Andy's mom in the Toy Story films.
Really?
Yes. That was
it's so hard to get voices, though, unless they're really iconic.
Yeah. I did not realize that. Because I was researching last night, and I thought, no, wait a minute, is she just like in one of them? It was like, no, she's in all 4 movies. Huh. So that one was a surprise.
Yeah, she's like the neighbor that has a little bit of a crush on Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
And last but certainly not least, Mike Starr plays Pooter the Clown. And I didn't know this was him, but I know you guys have seen him. He's known for The Office. Do you guys remember him in The Office?
Oh, yeah. Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, Dumb and Dumber.
And he was in The Goodfellas. Yeah, he's in quite a...
So, Justin, have you seen Dumb and Dumber?
I have, yeah.
Okay. When they get the guy in the van and they're sitting there going, do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Oh, yeah.
The guy in the middle, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I see his face, I didn't recognize him in the movie with the clown.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't put it together until I seen it. I was like, wait, that was him?
Yeah, good John Hughes film. I didn't realize, and John Candy was in a lot of John Hughes films. He was in National Lampoon's Vacation, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, A Great Outdoors, She's Having a Baby, Home Alone, Career Opportunities. Had no idea, but
yeah, and it's amazing.
And they almost didn't cast him for it. They were looking at Danny DeVito.
Oh, I've got a whole list of Would You Rather. So when we get around to playing
really?
Would You Rather, oh yeah,
Let's play it.
Okay, so we're gonna knock this out early.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So for the role as Tia,
yeah,
would you rather see Jean Louisa Kelly, who played Tia, or what about Winona Ryder?
I think Jean Louisa Kelly.
Okay, what about Ali Sheedy?
Nope. Ali Sheedy was too nice. She had a smile. She played in Short Circuit
and The Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. She was kind of weird, and I could see her as being eclectic, but not really mean.
Like I say, I've seen very short bits and pieces of Short Circuit over there, so I was basing off her role in Breakfast Club. I was like, she could probably pull that off based on her Breakfast Club role. I thought there could be a possibility. So, moving on to Bob Russell, the dad. Would you rather seen the dad that was played or Rick Moranis?
That's a tough one. The dad played a small role.
Right.
And he didn't look anything like Buck, like John Candy, so I don't know. As a small part to play, I thought he did a good job.
Oh yeah. I'm not.
I mean, he seemed like the guy that was, his wife told him what to do, and he was stumbling around, and his brother was a goober.
Right.
So I think it could have been Rick Moranis. I think it wouldn't matter as long as it was somebody that looked like they should be in suburbia.
Right. Yeah. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I could go either one on this one. I wouldn't be totally opposed to old Rick Moranis in there.
Yeah.
So I think I'd buy Rick Moranis as the dad much better than I did in him in Streets of Fire.
Oh God, yeah, he's terrible in Streets of Fire. That's for sure.
Okay, so now to the big role, Uncle Buck, and guys, I have a list of people that was supposed to was planned for this role but couldn't for one reason or another.
Oh,
First,
so John Candy was not high up on the list?
No, for some reason.
Wow.
So Dave brought the first one up, Danny DeVito. Do you think Danny DeVito could have pulled it off?
No, he's too short.
Nope.
That's what I thought.
Ridiculous.
Okay, what about John Goodman?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's big, he's tall, he's an imposing uncle, yeah.
I think he could have played. Tom Cruise.
No.
They always want to throw Tom Cruise into stuff.
Yeah,
He's come up a lot on our...
Well, that time, though, he came out of Outsiders, and he was, rolling right into...
Mission Impossible.
Well, that wasn't yet. He
yet.
did the fighter jet one, Top Gun.
Top Gun.
And that really blew him up. But before that, he was in the Outsiders. So he wasn't... Yeah, he wasn't well known. He wasn't the big star he is. So I could see, hey, what about this guy that's just starting out?
Yeah. So, yes or no?
No, definitely not. It had to be someone big and kind of tall and, and they had to have a smile. I don't see Tom Cruise as like a comedian. Like he did Night and Day, which was kind of a silly, funny role, but he was still a, secret agent guy,
right?
Action guy. So it had to be somebody that's tall and
doesn't have that warmth.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a jobless guy that bowls and is goofy and bets on horses and stuff, you can't be Tom Cruise. It's got to be somebody kind of
right.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look right.
Okay, what about Dan Aykroyd?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
A little bit of a stretch.
Okay, what about George Wendt?
Who's that?
I don't even know who that is.
Norm from Cheers.
Yeah, maybe.
When I seen that, I was like, okay, I could see that. I think he could pull. I think Mr. Wendt could pull that one off pretty easily. Now this was in my book. This is kind of another Tom Cruise deal. Michael Keaton.
No, gosh, no. He's not tall and imposing enough. I mean, you got a guy that's walking through a party, with a goofy hat on and wearing a big coat and just,
Well, and Michael Keaton
I don't like it.
Also played Batman, so I don't see how you could play Batman and Uncle Buck as far as two different. Okay, this will be a fun one. Ed O'Neill, a.k.a. Al Bundy.
Now
he could have probably pulled it off.
He could intimidate the sleazy boyfriend a little bit.
Yeah, Bug.
Bug, jeez.
He could, get...
Yeah, he could have pulled it off.
What about Robin Williams?
No, too short.
Well, I think he would have...
And not intimidating.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think, from my standpoint, I think he would have brought too much energy to that role.
Yeah.
Although it would have been, don't get me wrong, it would have been as entertaining. It would have been a completely different movie, but I think it would have been kind of over... a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's usually pretty meek in most of his roles. And can't picture him standing up to the teenage angst-filled daughter too much.
Not like that.
Yeah.
That's why I say it needed to be someone tall and kind of imposing, but yet goofy.
Right.
So John Goodman and John Candy would be my picks.
What about Jack Nicholson?
Nah.
What about Joe Pesci?
Nope, too short.
Bill Murray?
Nope.
Jim Belushi?
Maybe.
Maybe. He's got that weird twist of goofy slash, can be stern.
Dudley Moore.
No, gosh, no. Too short, too English.
Okay. Now this is one Justin and I had a discussion before the show. John Travolta.
Nah.
I
Justin,
can picture him as intimidating a little bit, but not. He doesn't
Yeah,
have the warmth.
not goofy and
Yeah.
warm. Yeah, like that's the great point, Justin, because you got to have somebody that can work with the two little kids.
yeah.
And that's the beauty of Uncle
Yeah.
Buck. He was that knucklehead who had a name, Buck, short for Bucky, but just goofy, and the two little kids loved him.
Yeah.
He was at their level of immaturity.
Yeah.
As a single guy that doesn't know if he wants a job, and has been dating a girl for 8 years, and he's that level of knucklehead.
Yeah.
But the two little kids were just like, "Yep, this is our guy. We're gonna pal around."
Yeah, they thought he was who'd have an Uncle
Yeah, he was
Buck around.
fun. So
Yeah.
you got to have somebody that can go to that level. And that's why, like Tom Cruise and that crew, nah.
What about Tom Hanks?
Because like
It's got to be somebody like a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
a Travolta could be menacing, but he doesn't have that like fun uncle side. It seems
Yeah,
like.
he's not like a big teddy
Yeah.
Because
bear.
even when Uncle Buck is being menacing, he kind of has a smile on his face.
Yeah,
He's not like super scary.
He's
Yeah,
not like I'm going to take my belt off and beat you.
Yeah. But he has the best of intentions.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last two, Chevy Chase,
No.
Justin,
No thanks.
and last but certainly not least, Tim Allen.
Maybe.
Justin.
I always gotta Google and see their face, see if I can.
He's
picture
a
it.
home
Improvement.
improvement guy.
Maybe, yeah. I'll go with a maybe on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different. I think the big teddy bear aspect with a slight bit of menace protection
Yeah.
is needed.
A screw loose.
Yeah.
So basically narrows down to John Candy or John Goodman and maybe George Wendt in the right light.
Yeah, maybe.
This was fun. This
This is
was
First time watch for me.
and this is mind blowing. So not asking for a rating, Justin. I don't want to push the envelope too early.
Yeah.
But overall, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I always like these, going back to the 80s and or early 90s and catching stuff that you guys picked that I never got to see. And
Yeah, John Hughes, man. How do you beat John Hughes? He hit home runs.
Yeah.
yeah, just seeing John Candy in a movie was good. Kept my interest the whole time,
And the movie
the
wasn't.
story moved along. It was pretty believable, yet also they made it like him getting the axe out of the trunk and kind of scaring the boyfriend. It's like maybe that's not something someone would do, but actually you could picture somebody doing that. So it's not like totally
Yeah,
bonkers.
somebody with a screw loose probably would have an axe in their trunk. Especially a car that they call the Beast
Yeah.
with a big old trunk that's got
that was a character in itself. That car, the way it
Yeah.
would embarrass
smoked and rattled and
a high
beeped
school
and
girl, like pulling
backfired.
up in the car. And he was able to use that as a leverage, like basically, if you're not here at 4 o'clock, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna continue to embarrass you. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I will bring you to school tomorrow, and I will wear a bathrobe and walk you to your first class.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think of the teenage girl? Is she believable as being that super angsty and basically just mean-spirited and
Anti-authority.
over it?
And yes, I bought that in
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. She
She did pretty good.
She had the right demeanor, the right little look in her eye when she was, you could tell she wasn't happy about being moved, which is believable. You know, you uproot a teenager, move them to somewhere new, and they're going to be mad about it. They give up their friends and their social life, and now, they got to start over. And, any disruption to that kind of deal always leads to angst, and she played it perfect.
Yes.
She had just enough of snottiness in her
Yeah.
that made it believable.
Yeah, I love the scene her and Bug are sitting there on the stairs, and she goes, "Cover your ears." Why? Boom!
Yeah. I liked it when she
Hard
drank
attack.
coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, but you could tell she didn't really like.
Yeah, took the sip, and you're like, see her cringe, and you're like, yep.
She just pretending that she's a coffee drinker. 'Cause
Yeah.
Uncle Buck's like, oh, coffee drinker, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you trying to impress me?
Yeah. But it seemed like, with this story, the way Uncle Buck kind of came at the right time, because it could have gone either way with her. It seemed like she was, maybe going down a bad path, and her parents weren't really connected with her, knowing how to get through to her, kind of, or yeah, there was something amiss with her relationship with her parents, so she kind of needed to shake things up a little bit.
Well, I think the parents kind of hit a miss with all the kids, and it's the other two kids are kind of young enough where they don't really recognize it at this point, but Tia does, because they ask Miles, so how was hockey practice? And he goes, I haven't been I quit hockey.
Yeah, well, it ended 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it ended 2 weeks ago, and they're going, oh.
When they're at the family dinner, they're basically, they're working the mother's working too much, and things are just stressful, and
well, I think
family life is.
Yeah, in the 80s, that was kind of the epitome of what happened, because 50s, 60s, 70s, moms stayed at home and raised kids. And in the 80s, you had this power shift where women, got out in the workforce, did a great job, and that kind of became the norm. Both parents working. And that was, latchkey kids came from that. You had
the
this
movie
whole...
kind of opens with the latchkey kid scene, basically. With the three kids, and, the teenage girl is just over it that she has to watch these two.
Yeah, she's
kids
in charge
that
until parents get home.
She's pretty mean to him, like, right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. Well, siblings. You're welcome.
Yeah. Smacks him in the head a couple times.
Yeah, but
they're all fighting and not getting along. Things aren't good.
Yeah, but I love Macaulay Culkin's just interaction with the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Pick your stuff up. Oh, have a cow. I mean, just that
little jabs.
Yeah.
So when you're the littlest, you got to figure out how to fight back.
Yeah.
But so I mean, it kind of John Hughes wrapped that up, and this is what's happening now, and how it plays out, and what it looks like, and here's the downfalls, and then here's how you can make it work. And then the quirky uncle comes and saves the day. It's weird. I mean, in today's world, I don't know that translates over as well. So I'll ask you two, did it translate over well?
Like the issues of this movie?
Yeah, just kind of how it played out.
It felt a little bit
the quirky uncle saves the day.
Time, yeah. It felt a little different time and place, but
I don't know. I think a lot of it, when I was watching it, I seen a lot of it that could still flow over today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, you still have the same teenage rebellions.
Right. You still have your same teenage rebellions. You still have a situation where both parents are working and are completely oblivious to what their children's social lives are.
Yeah, that could be even worse today in some cases.
So it's one of those. I think it aged well. There wasn't a lot. I didn't notice a lot of stuff that going, well, that doesn't happen today, or there's no possible way. Because even to this day, there's teenagers having, these unsupervised parties in these houses. Well, maybe not so much because from what I hear, teenagers hardly leave their own house anymore.
Yeah.
But I could still see these, house parties going on. Teenagers trying to rebel against their parents for whatever reason, and just life happening, like in this situation where. The mother's brother or father had a heart attack.
Yeah.
We got to go take care of this situation, but we've got kids, and I can see that happening today. So, from my standpoint, I think that movie aged very well. There wasn't a lot of eye roller going, yeah, it would never happen.
Right. Yeah, the thing about Uncle Buck that made him effective was that he had no shame in walking into a crowded high school kid party, and basically they'll kick the door down and tell you that you're going home, or the stuff their parents would never do. They'd be too embarrassed.
Yeah. I found it funny, like they were messing with him with his hat as he walked through the party. And I was like, yep, that's what would happen.
Somebody's gotta grab his hat.
An older guy walking into a teenage party like that. Yeah.
He's just kind of walking through. Anybody seen Bug? Looking for Bug.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody hands him a beer and a cup, and he's like, okay, yeah, thank you. Smoking a cigar.
Well, and I love when he was driving on the way to the party, he pulls up that red light, and the car beside him goes, yeah, our kid's there too. And then they even make a comment about the hat. You don't want to wear that hat, they'll make fun of you. Like, Buck's really worried about...
Yeah, gosh.
A bunch of teenagers making fun of his fashion sense.
What was it, Bug, that he's maybe, like, possibly involved in a little bit of some sketchy gambling type things, or like they kind of reference, there's a race coming up, like you're gonna miss
Yeah,
out on some money.
and Shanice referenced that too. Are you going to the track? You know, is that why you need me to come watch the kids? Because you're going to the horse track, big race coming up. So, you know, gambling on the backside. That's what his buddy told him. He's like, hey, this will make your whole year. You know, and this guy owes us. So that's why Buck wasn't sure about whether taking a job for, you know, for his girlfriend or not. And, you know,
Yeah, that's right.
because he could
she
gamble.
Wants
And
him to work at the auto.
yeah, she wanted some stability and get married. So
I thought his girlfriend was pretty good.
Yeah.
She did a good job in that role.
I could see her running a tire shop. She's tough.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she looks familiar. What other films?
Streets of Fire.
Streets of Fire.
Okay.
Yeah, we just saw
Go
it.
to the archives. That's that's a good one.
And so you had
Episode 30.
You had Macaulay Culkin and the girl. You had the little ones and kind of their perspective of, you know, it's a fun camp out atmosphere type deal. You know, massive pancake breakfast, you know, for his birthday, and you know, just kind of that kind of stuff that was just for them a circus. And then you had the teenage daughter that had social issues and needed some parenting. And then you had Buck, who was this lost uncle that's a knucklehead that's trying to pull his crap together.
But he's possibly gonna lose out his girl. Because he can't
he can't.
He can't juggle both spectrums of his life.
And then you have his brother and his wife, who are the parents that are struggling to, you know, as you referred to, Justin, parent their family, and then it all wraps up in the end. And you know, so with that being said, I felt like it was pretty patterned as how it was going to play out and what's going on. But were there any poignant scenes that you guys remember specifically?
Justin, you want to go first?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. Well, then
I should have these ready.
So no, I just mean maybe nothing stood out.
Well, I'll go ahead. I had a couple. Although I forgot what the one was, but the other one, the one that really stood out for me was when Buck had the kids in the car, and they was getting ready to go to the track, and then reality set in. You could see Buck going, "Okay, I need to straighten up. I can't run like this forever."
Yeah. So you chose a heartfelt moment.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interested now, Justin. Anything stand out to you?
No, nothing jumping out right now. What about you?
I remember the car going down the road with a big cloud of white smoke and just smoking everybody up. You know, I'm just like, yep. You know, if that was you in the car, you'd be embarrassed. But he was just kind of like, business is normal.
Yeah.
Here we go. You know, and just kind of that, and the girl drinking the coffee. I thought that kind of set the tone of, this is a teen rebelling, trying to act older than she is, you know, and so I kind of felt like those were poignant parts of the movie that were like, okay, John Candy has nothing that he's going to be embarrassed about, and this teenage girl is on a rant. That's going to be tough to deal with. Yeah, she's got, you know, her ironclad will, and it was going to, we're going to play it out.
Those two are butt heads.
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw. And I thought her scowl kind of set the tone.
Yeah, she said a lot without saying so many words.
Yeah, and then the little girl, there's a couple moments there where the little girl just gives you a look, and I'm like, yep, that's pure amusement on the little kid's part.
Yeah.
You know, like when he flopped out the big pancake breakfast, and they're just both like wide-eyed, and I'm like, yep. So I really thought they did a good job on that end, and I thought those were what stand out to me.
And hats off to Macaulay Culkin and the interrogation with John Candy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And I like the little mail slot.
Yeah.
You know, thing. And you know, fun fact, that's where John Hughes got the Home Alone idea.
Really?
Yeah, when he was interrogating Shanice through the mail slot.
Really?
Can I see your driver's license, please? Can you take it out, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Now, what I did find out during the interrogation scene, that John Candy actually wrote out the script's dialogue and wore it on top of his head, on his hat.
So he could read it?
Yes, and Macaulay Culkin could just rapid fire read it. That's why they did the close-ups of both their faces. Because if you remember going back and watching, they just did close-ups on those faces when they go back and forth, and so they could cut out the dialogue card on John Candy's head because he wanted that rapid fire, and he knew Macaulay could deliver, but try to make it easier on both of them.
Nice. That's, you know, this was all shot and released in the same year. This is a quick film.
Wow.
$15 million budget.
Yeah. Did it make money?
$79 million.
Wow. Okay. It's originally supposed to take place in St. Louis, but they had a warm weather streak, so they moved it to Chicago.
And almost every set was built in a local high school gymnasium, including the 2-story Russell House.
Really?
Yeah. And they did the same thing with Home Alone. I remember seeing that on Netflix series Movies That Made Us. They did almost the exact same thing for Home Alone.
So the high school they used was using Ferris Bueller's Day Off and 16 Candles. It's New Tier West High School in Winnetaka, Illinois, and it was not functioning at the time of filming.
I wonder, what kind of star power does John Candy have at this time? Because when it opened, it was #1 at the box office that weekend. So
Well, he was kind
people
of.
were drawn to it.
Well, I think.
I wonder if it's him or the John Hughes attachment, or just
Well, I think it's a little bit of both.
yeah.
He was because at this point he done Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. I think he hadn't he?
I don't know.
Because I think he done The Great Outdoors and Spaceballs.
I remember him in Spaceballs. Yeah.
Spaceballs was after that, surely.
No, I think it's before.
He did Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings was after that. Okay, so Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was 1987. And let me see when Spaceballs.
And that was a big movie.
Yes.
That was pretty big.
Yeah, it starred him and Steve Martin.
Oh yeah.
And Spaceballs released in June 24th, 1987. So this was
Yeah, he had
after.
some momentum going.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, so he did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. She's Having a Baby.
So I never heard that she's having a baby.
Yeah, that's got Kevin Bacon in it and John Candy. The Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd in '88, and then Uncle Buck came along in '89.
So not a bad lineup coming into Uncle Buck. When did he do? Let me see. Camp Candy.
I didn't realize he was in JFK.
Really?
Yeah, and then Rookie of the Year in 1993, and then Cool Runnings 1993.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in
Canadian Bacon
Was
1995.
he the coach?
Oh, he was in Draft Day.
Was he the coach in Cool Runnings?
He wasn't in Draft Day.
Huh?
Was he the coach in Cool
Yeah,
Runnings?
Yeah.
he was the American coach who got disqualified for cheating, and then
Okay, and he
was
had
in Draft Day.
and then he was doing his Saturday morning cartoon Camp Candy at the same time. It was in September of 1989, and it ran through 1992.
Did you ever watch any of the Squid Game, Joe?
I started it. Watched, like I said, I watched the first few minutes of it, and Cena said that wasn't for her, so I've not gone back and watched. I'm dying to go back and watch it though.
It's pretty weird. But
Good though.
I thought it was good, but yeah.
I'm itching to watch it. I just have not found the time yet to do it. But yes, it is definitely on my short list of things to watch.
It
I
seems
hear-
like, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say I hear Dave clicking the pen, so he's adding
Added a
something.
movie. Added a movie to my list. I ran across one that I
Forgot about.
like, and yep. Okay. By golly, Uncle Buck. So, is there anything that you didn't buy, or any mistakes that you saw?
There was one I kind of forgot about. You just kind of gloss over, but I didn't realize it until I was doing my research last night.
Yeah.
Justin, did you see anything? So the one I found last night that I completely forgot about is when Shanice enters the house and she hears the neighbor lady talking
Yeah.
and dancing with Buck. She actually calls him out by his real name, John.
No way.
And I completely forgot about it. But yeah, when they're dancing and she goes, "Oh, John," I'm like, "Oh, I completely It just
Now, is that something you caught, or did you
no,
see
no,
it
no,
some-
no. This is what I found last night on my
Wow.
research. It's like I never caught that. As many times I've seen this movie, I've never caught on to
I
that,
didn't
but I
notice
will
it, no.
now.
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
I just completely. It's one of those. Oh, really?
Well, here's what got me. Did they have cordless drills in 1988?
I don't know.
That's my question, because I watched it. So here's two things with that whole scene, and this is my line of thought. So I looked at it and I was like, "Hey, who carries around a 10-inch drill bit in that specific size in their car?"
Okay, but
I mean, granted, he's got an axe and stuff.
I'm gonna say you've seen the trunk of his car.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just saying. Usually, drill bits that long are like masonry bits,
Right.
And he drilled through the lock, which, I mean, it could happen. It'd be hard to do, but then just nobody ever has those unless you're like a contractor. This is a guy that gambles and does horse racing and blah blah blah. And then secondly, a cordless drill in 1988. I just don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
It seemed odd because I don't remember cordless drills until I was, out of college in '96 and 2000s. Cordless drills kind of became a thing.
Right.
And you said you got him there. Wow. So I mean, I'm assuming there was, but having that drill bit, having a drill, seems like far fetched. So that was one of the things that caught us kind of like, eh.
Well, let me see when first.
Well, the whole thing where he's quote unquote caught, kind of hanging out with the neighbor lady.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all set up basically because the teenage daughter kind of set him up.
Right.
Because his girlfriend called and said, "Oh yeah, he's been out with the neighbor lady."
Yeah.
She was trying to mess things up because he was messing up her life. She wanted to get him back.
Actually, 1961 was the first cordless power tool by Black & Decker.
That's
So it's
crazy.
completely inside the realm of possibility, then.
Yeah.
But
First
I'm like you,
cordless drill.
David. That sounds like something that I don't know if it became more popular or just didn't come realize it till like the 90s. So that's a good catch.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. So 1998, Ryobi had a 9.6 volt 3/8 cordless drill. Huh. All right. Never mind. So
Which is crazy because I just bought a new impact driver a couple weekends ago. It's 20 volts.
oh yeah, that thing will twist off lug nuts.
Oh, I know. Those things are wicked.
Does Cena know you bought this?
Yeah, she was with me when I bought it.
Boss approved.
Yeah.
You always like those purchases.
Yeah. Well, and it was on sale, so I was all
Hold
in
on.
on
Is
that.
this my Christmas present?
Sure. I'm telling you, I'm getting you the Howard the Duck comic book.
Gosh, I swear. Anyway,
If anyone wants to hear our Howard the Duck review, that's episode number 7.
don't do it. That just avoid it like the plague. That's
No,
like having
now-
to watch The Room.
No, they can watch a review and see how entertaining that review is.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm still saying, regardless of the movie, that episode of our podcast is my personal favorite. Because that is the most entertaining. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. We've done excellent work, but that was my personal favorite because that's just 45 minutes of Dave just blasting me on.
Yeah, you deserve it. So Buck's car was a 1977 Mercury Marquis Brougham. Called it the Beast. So they made the backfire by doing a gunshot and a firecracker together.
Which is crazy,
Yeah.
I think.
That is kind of crazy. And then, of course, they used rapper Tone Loc's Wild Thing as the theme song. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they said this is kind of one of the first movies to start recognizing
Really?
moving away from rock and roll and moving into rap.
Huh.
Because they had the Run DMC playing in the background at the house party.
Yeah.
And they said this was one of the first movies to kind of start
The car
recognizing.
definitely fits Buck.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Seems like something he'd be driving on. Because at the end, doesn't it break down or something? He's like, oh, I was hoping to get...
She
More
told him
miles.
you got to get a new car. He's like, this ain't going to last another
oh,
100,000
yeah, this
miles.
thing's going another 100,000.
So they had 2 short-lived TV shows by the same name that ran in 90 and 91.
Really?
They were created without the input of John Hughes or any of the film's cast.
Well,
And-
there's your problem.
Yeah, and Hughes didn't even know the show existed until they asked to use exterior footage for the movie. And apparently there's a 2016 version, which was canceled after 1 season. And get this, there was an Indian Uncle Buck remake,
Yeah, Uncle Bun.
Uncle Bun, released in 1991.
Different
Really?
language.
Yeah,
Whole different language. We should watch
how
that.
funny is that? And if you have any desire and you want to make one of his pancakes, you'll need 300 grams of plain flour, 200 grams of sugar, 450 milliliters of milk, 9 eggs, 100 grams of melted unsalted butter, and 15 grams of vegetable oil. And you can make that big old stack of pancakes that Miles got for his birthday.
That was
Hey,
real. They
thanks.
actually made that?
Thanksgiving coming up, guys.
There you go, just in time.
Yeah.
So did you buy the whole, so the name Miles and Maisie, that seemed appropriate, right? Those are good names for the little ones. I
Well,
mean-
considering they kind of live in little
Yeah.
uptown suburbia,
Yeah,
you
that's what I
could-
mean. They're kind of preppy kids, live in a really nice neighborhood, big house.
Yeah.
You know, dads and mom are goofy.
Yeah, Uncle Buck complains that all the houses are huge and white, and because he was knocking on the wrong door.
Now that was funny. I did get a kick out of that. I forgot about that. He's sitting out there. He's like, "Come on, Bob, don't get mad."
Yeah.
Buck?
It's freezing out here.
Bob,
Get up.
Bob. And he can hear him, but he can't figure out where.
Yeah, so they're screaming back and forth, and they're telling him to hush. I can't hear you. Speak up.
Yeah.
Shh.
Yeah. And I like the cat scene. Did you guys notice the cat scene? The only problem I have with that is like halfway through the movie.
Which cat?
He brought a cat. He found the cat outside. He's like, "All right, get back in here." And he puts him in the house, and they're like, and he's like, "Who let the cat out?" And they're like, "We don't have a cat." And he's like, "All right, get back out of here."
Yeah,
so-
just one of those little quirks that
Yeah, I mean,
you don't see coming, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was just kind of sporadically thrown in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
I could have saw it like the first day, but kind of coming in the middle. I mean, if you're around the house, you'll notice a cat after a couple days. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but
it's
if you're
funny.
Buck Russell, you
it's true,
really
probably
don't.
wouldn't, yeah. And I like when he had the whole conversation about the dog. So, do you feed the dog? You know, how often do you feed the dog? And she's like, "How often do you think?" "Oh, 4 or 5 times a day."
Yeah.
We feed the dog once. That makes sense. That
Yeah.
explains a lot.
And for water, you just let him drink out of the toilet. Oh, that's bad for him. Well, that explains.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, the girls in the classroom, and Uncle Buck was putting our clothes in the microwave, and the dog threw up on the couch for an hour.
Yeah. He couldn't figure out how to get the dryer to work. Jeez.
Oh,
That's-
and that dryer scene with
Yeah.
him cussing the dryer. Oh,
Yeah.
that was.
And then I like the ceiling fan with clothes hanging on it with a blow dryer. Did you guys notice the blow dryer taped to the door?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Who sat around like, what would you do if you couldn't get the dryer?
Microwaving
Socks.
the wet laundry. Yeah. That was kind of crazy.
I would have loved to sit in the writing room as they was writing this, because, like you said, just the little things like that, seeing the
Yep.
clothes on the fan with the blow dryer. It's one thing you go, there's no possible way I could think of that, but somebody did.
Yeah.
So my question would be, did it just come up as a whim, or do they go, hey, I know this person?
Oh gosh, yeah. Can you imagine if that's how it went down?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're right. Somebody sat around and said, "Okay, he can't use the washer and dryer. How do we sneak in something funny?"
Yeah.
Somebody's like, "All right, this, what would you do?"
Yeah.
All right, you got a ceiling fan. Okay, we'll put him on the ceiling fan. Well, you know, let's add a blow dryer.
Yeah, so was this some personal experience? Did they have
Yeah.
a roommate in college? Did they have
Yeah,
a
that's
relative?
what I mean.
What's the
And-
backstory of
Or
this?
it could go down like that and be like, "Listen, I had this family member. This is how it went down." Either way, pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because Uncle Buck there's certain quirks with him that, and I think that we've all had over the years experiences with a relative or
Yeah.
friend that had just these little quirks that no matter how big of a knucklehead, you still loved them, and it was always fun to be around,
Oh yeah.
even with their little quirks. And
Did you guys? What were your thoughts on the scene with the assistant principal? Russell Melanoma. I mean, Harry Wart. I mean,
Yeah. That was good.
now, that shows the type of level of an actor that John Candy is. He was able to just
Rattle that out,
rattle that
yeah.
off. Not one smirk, not one
Yep.
smile, not one hesitation. Just blah, 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 blah. And while staring at that lady, and I'm going to assume that the mole was fake. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know whether it was or
yeah, it
not.
wasn't personal.
But to stare at that, do that whole thing, and just and you could, if they did do cutscenes, they did a very good job of cutting
Splicing it
where
together.
yeah, splicing it together where you couldn't tell.
I kind
But
of think at this point though, they did it.
yeah,
You know,
it looks
'cause
like it just turned it on.
Chevy
It's-
Chase did it in Fletch and the golf movie
Oh,
Caddyshack?
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. You
Yeah.
know, he and Chevy Chase are really good at just bam, 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 bam. You know, John Belushi, James Belushi, they were both really good at it.
Yeah, just stuff that.
I mean, I
pretty
think-
I mean, I don't know, I'm going to speak for you guys, but I know definitely myself. It'd be very difficult for me to sit there
Oh,
and
gosh,
try to keep
yeah.
all that together,
Yeah.
and then not just bust out laughing
Yeah.
after every one.
I kind of think that was in the day. You were good if you did that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
If
it's
you
one-
weren't good, you couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, it's kind of one-upsmanship. It's like, hey, I
Yeah.
did it in my movie. Let's see if you do it.
Yeah, and they did that in Saturday Night Live skits, and you know that was just kind of the flavor of the day. If you were a comedian, you had to have that skill set.
Yeah.
And you know, he, like I say, Chevy Chase, John Belushi, they both, all three of those guys, at least in my mind, could pull that off.
Yeah.
And probably had to. You know,
Oh, yeah.
That's the caliber, like you said, the caliber of actor
Yeah.
had to be able to do that. It was a skill set. It was a tool.
And just the little cut scene while he's interacting with the assistant principal and
the little kid outside the office with the glasses making food. Like, oh boy.
Yeah, and then the cut scene, the little girl telling the teacher about the dog puking and all that, and then the teacher asks, why is he using the microwave?
Yeah.
And her response, it's one of those. She's young enough and
naive
she's
enough.
Naive enough that it's cute. And anybody else is going, oh, you shouldn't have said that. But it's one of those. She has that little grin. It's like, you shouldn't say that, but you still get a pass because.
Yeah. How funny is that?
But yeah, I love when he tells her, says, if I even see you much as scowl at a kid, I'm coming for you. And then throws that quarter at her and goes, and take a rat and have that thing gnaw that thing off your face.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, I'm going to back up a little bit. What did you guys think of him just walking in school, lighting a cigar, and just walk down the hallway?
Just looking in. I mean, nowadays that wouldn't happen.
No.
But back in the 80s, yeah.
Well, I think maybe he even just wasn't thinking it was just a habit. And then I think at one point he kind of looks like he's like, oh, shoot, I need to put this out.
Yeah, so then he goes to the bathroom and sees all these little kids running, or all these boys in the bathroom, in the stalls, and going, and then reality sets in and goes, oh, yeah, this is
How funny was that, him trying to pee in the little short urinal? Yeah, and it's crazy. But that's in our local elementary school. I've went in the local elementary school bathroom where we were doing midget league basketball.
Yeah.
And been like, why are the urinals so low? And you're like, oh
yeah. It's one of those things you just completely forget about.
Yeah, 5 to 8 year olds, they gotta be low.
Yeah.
Low. They're short.
Yeah.
But yeah, how funny is that?
Well, and it's just one of those little nuances, things like that. Okay, you're thinking, okay, yeah, he's going to the bathroom. How can that be funny? And they figure out a way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're right, Joe. You have a great point when you say the writers had to have sat down and said, okay, what happens when he walks into school? Not only is it weird that he's walking through the hallways, peeking in classrooms and lighting a cigar, but Uncle Buck's got to go take a whiz.
Yeah.
How do we make that funny?
Yeah. Finding ways to get comedy without an actual words being said, like a joke being cracked or situational. Yeah, knowing how to put John Candy in those situations that are amusing and funny.
Yeah. That's one thing. This movie in particular, I would have loved to been a fly on the wall in the writer's room.
Yeah, and see, that's why I think it took like a big guy, because if you had Danny DeVito, he would fit that urinal. But John Candy at 6'4", 300 and some pounds. Yeah, it's gonna be funny when he tries to.
Yeah.
And I like he got down on one knee and like, this is how I'll make it work.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
stuff.
overall, I thought a good mix of like situational humor like that, but then also the dialogue between the characters is good too, and it didn't lean too heavily on one or the other or go like too crazy with over the top situations, but
it was
enough shenanigans.
It was kind of evenly balanced across the board. It was heavy on the comedy, but it wasn't overlaying on the comedy. You felt like, this is a good movie. It's like they wasn't trying to be funny. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, it pulled at me as in, if you did have a knucklehead uncle that the mom didn't trust to come watch their kids, but was in a tight spot and he showed up, that's kind of how it would go down.
Yeah, you would expect nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be those instances of, it's your birthday, we got to do something just crazy because I'm the uncle that doesn't know, but I feel like something special should happen.
Yeah.
So we're going to make big pancakes. Here we go.
but on the same coin, like you said, Dave, he's big enough a knucklehead. I'm going to just grab this random animal that's in our front yard. And hey.
Surely this is our cat. You let the cat out.
Yeah, let's not ask, hey, do we have a cat? Let's just drag it on in, and then we'll we'll fix it later.
But yeah, I still, I mean, for me, I'm older, so I relate to 80 movies really well. For you two, I'm still not sure where you're gonna fall with this, even though I know we're laughing about it. We did have some cast changes. Justin, did you have a hate list?
Nope.
Okay, no hate list. That's always a good sign.
He's pretty
Bug.
supposed to be.
That's what I didn't buy.
He was a little over the top.
You're in a affluent neighborhood with rich people. Who gets called Bug? You know what I mean?
I never thought about that.
Yeah, they're gonna have nicknames, but not Bug.
Yeah.
He's too affluent. He's too rich. He's too cool.
But I love John Candy's back and forth with him. What's your last name? Spray?
Yeah.
And then John Candy's like,
Now, did you see the ending when he's in the room trying to talk the girl into having sex with him? And did you see that it's being a different girl?
No, I didn't see
that.
that.
A shocker?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'd seen it a long time ago, so I knew it wasn't her, but I was still kind of surprised, even though I knew it.
Right.
Do you think this movie could have kept the momentum going? And just because the story makes sense without there being some like bad guy boyfriend, or is that like super important? I mean, could he just be helping her?
That's every parent's nightmare. You know,
like
your
they
daughter.
Really, laid it kind of heavy on like, oh, this young teenage girl maybe. People are always trying to take advantage of her, basically, like the guys in the bowling alley, and then.
Yeah, I mean that's every parent's nightmare. You have a daughter, and you know, two old guy, an age gap of guy hitting.
Like a senior or something, or
who?
Bug. Was he even? He wasn't.
Yeah, he was an older student. You know, just that's every parent's worst case scenario. You got some weird 40-year-old guy at the bowling alley hitting on a teenage girl.
Right.
I mean, just weird.
Well,
and, you know, and the overbearing. That's why I say for John Candy to play the part, John Goodman, they pulled it off because they're big, they're imposing.
Right.
You know, hey, you're messing with my niece, I'm going to beat you up. You know, and the clown, you know, you got to have somebody that can punch the clown.
Yeah.
Like that and make it real. So that's why it had to be.
Yeah, because I can see John Travolta from the Pulp Fiction. John Travolta just pull out a pistol and shoot him right there on the porch.
Yeah.
There goes the family aspect out the window.
Yeah. So it's got to be a protective uncle, but it's also a teddy bear for the two little ones. So.
Right.
So that's why I like John Candy. But yeah, I mean, you know, that teenage daughter rebelling, that's always the forefront of every parent that has a daughter.
Right.
Anyway.
So yeah, I could see her just out of spite going after the goober named Bug, just because she knows it would drive her parents nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know the heartfelt, everything you said was true, at the very end, you know, and then making up with her mom. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time in my mind trying to come up with a rating, just because.
I'll go.
I really can't knock it in any way, but.
I'll go first. I'm going large. It's easy to watch. You can watch it at any point.
That's kind of where I'm
at. The storyline's not too hard. Tons of laughs, and I felt like the cast was pretty good. Yeah, I could have interchanged a couple people here and there, but I mean, for the most part, no harm. No harm in this one, so it's hard for me to ding. So I'm going large.
And a lot of times, you know, some of these movies that are a little more for a specific audience, I'm like, man, I love it, but I can't picture myself just recommending it to anyone. But this one, pretty easy to recommend this to anyone across the board. You know, maybe premise it with like, you like 80s and 90s type movies, like
get a laugh out of John Candy.
Yeah, if you do, then, and if you haven't seen this one, you gotta check it out.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I'm at. That I really can't knock it really for anything, because I don't think it tried to take huge swings that didn't work really, but managed to stay entertaining with some quirkiness and some kind of craziness that John Candy brought to it that was believable. I'm going large as well on this one.
Okay,
Joe, it was your pick, so I'm assuming.
Well, this one's a hard one for me because.
One thing, Joe, I just think I don't maybe have the same nostalgia for it. That's a little bit of a factor, I think.
Well, yeah, because you're going. But
I don't have that, so I'm coming to it without that. But so it almost made me want to go overflowing medium, but I'm large on this one.
But that kind of speaks to how well the movie is being. Your first time through.
Yeah.
Dave and I are going from a nostalgia view. This is your first time through, and it rates pretty as high as it did on your scale.
John Hughes, he's a hero.
That kind of puts it in perfect perspective. And on mine, yes, this was my pick, and I honestly, this was a hard one for me to watch as a critic. Because as the saying goes, I was watching with rose-colored glasses. I was being entertained without. It was very hard for me to critique. It's like, this is a great movie. It's got John Candy. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and be, because I was wanting to give it a mop bucket. I was dead.
No way.
I was dead set on mop bucket. I was like, after we've talked, I was like, I'm giving it a mop bucket because I love the movie. But I need to look at it from a critical standpoint.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this a solid large. So Uncle Buck gets a certified large on the Been There Watch That group.
Okay. across the board. I feel like that's an easy one.
On the shoulders of John Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically brings the large home single-handedly almost with a very solid supporting cast. But
Yes.
he makes the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That for me, a lot of times, something that if it's one of these older movies, what's gonna ding it for me is too over the top, too sappy, or just unbelievable. But it never really got into any of those territories for me, so I had to give it a solid large.
Yeah, there wasn't any eye roller moments.
And some genuine funny moments. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't trying to be over the top slapstick funny. It was comedy. It wasn't being comedy for comedy's sake. It was actual legitimate.
All right,
comedy.
Uncle Buck. I'm glad I got to see it. Thank you, Joe, for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad we're keeping this roll of high roller movies here. So I was taking kind of a gamble. I was hoping I wasn't going to dump the wagon on this one. So
who gets the next? Is it the
it's a fan pick?
Fan pick.
Yeah.
Oh, we better get going then because we only got like 12 minutes.
All right, I'm ready with a random number.
Okay.
Number 72.
Okay, 72 is.
Dave, you look it up, see if it's available for streaming.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm the wrong person to do the IT work here.
So 72 is Throw Mama from a Train.
Oh.
Do we want to see if it's available?
I've seen it. It's Billy Crystal, Danny DeVito.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, let's just see if it's available. I'm just curious.
I think it is. I think you can get it on Tubi or Pluto.
All right, we'll put it on the short list. I know nothing about it whatsoever.
Well, neither do I. So Justin, you're not alone.
It's worth watching.
126 is the next one.
126. Okay, let me do this.
Rear Window.
What is it?
Rear Window.
Rear Window. I've never even heard of that.
This coming from our list of
Fancy
Very,
I think somebody's messing with us.
very
Okay.
eclectic mix of movies. On
Oh,
this
it's a
list.
1954 movie.
Okay. No,
No.
scratch that. Let's go with Throw Mama from the Train.
Throw Mama from a
Yeah,
Train.
you guys will like it. It's Billy Crystal, Danny DeVito.
One more spin of the wheel.
All right, let
Yeah,
me
Number
just-
48.
Number 48.
The Girl with All the Gifts.
Never even heard of it.
It's a 2016 film.
I was gonna say just by the name of the movie, Throw Mama from a Train starting to sound even better.
Well, this one, The Girl with All the Glitz, has Glenn Close in it.
Nobody can't find it. Can't stream it.
Looks pretty messed up. What the heck is this? Some girl. That's a horror.
Roll the dice again, Justin.
Zombie type deal.
Roll the dice again since we
Okay.
can't find this in the stream.
Turns humanity into cannibalistic zombies. Jeez.
All right. 45 is the next number that popped up.
Mandy. Um,
2018 horror thriller.
Man, we gotta weed out some of these horrors. I can't picture this ever.
Throw
reviewing
Mama
horror.
from the Train it is.
We Do It in the Shadows. That's a TV show. 63 is West Side Story.
I think you'll like Throw Mama from the Train.
Okay. A League of Their Own was the next one.
Ooh, I like A League of Their Own. Gina Davis and Tom Hanks. Good combination.
so which one we doing?
Doesn't matter to me. I've seen them both.
I've never seen Throw Mama from a Train, so
Let's do that. It's quirky. It's
Okay.
different.
All
Billy
right.
Crystal and Danny DeVito are a good combination.
all right.
Let me double check, make sure. Okay.
There it
Yep,
is.
looks like
Sure.
if you want to watch it for free, you can get it on Tubi or Pluto TV.
All right. That's another episode in the books.
Cool
Episode
deal.
39 will be back next week with episode 40 and Throw Mama from a Train.
Throw Mama
Staying in the 80s and early 90s type
from the Train.
time period, which I like.
I'm
I like-
excited for this
I
one.
like watching the older movies.
Yeah, this one's a dandy. It's different.
But so this was going to be an interesting episode next week because Dave, you've seen it. Justin and I both. Neither of us have seen it. So this one's going to be.
Are you guys Billy Crystal fans? Do you know Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I don't. He's not on my hate list. So.
I was going to say he was in.
Yet.
He was in The Princess Bride, so he can't be that bad.
He wasn't really him in there though. He played
true.
in a lot of 70s and 80s movies. And,
True.
I mean. You know, it's...
Well, his most popular role around our house is Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc. So.
That's what I mean. As he got older, he kind of didn't hit as many movies.
He didn't have to. He's hit so many dingers that he can just live off the money.
Did he really?
Well, let's pull up his IMDb.
I'm just looking at some of his movies. Because, I mean, I remember him in a lot of older movies. City Slickers.
Okay, yeah, right there, City Slickers alone, the money off of that.
Well, I'm just mean, how popular is he, though, just from that? Because, like, Justin, you ever heard of City Slickers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not watched it. Oh, and he did Analyze This and Analyze That.
Yeah, he did those two. I don't feel like those were huge hits.
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally is probably his biggest one. Forget Paris is a pretty decent one. I mean, he did Father's Day, America's Sweethearts, My Giant.
Well, Saturday Night Live.
I mean, he was a big comedian, but he wasn't necessarily a big movie guy. He did one back in the day that had, another actor in it that's, I mean, that tells you where we're going here.
Kind of seems like he's super famous, but you're kind of wondering, scratching your head a little bit, like what.
Well, okay, so like Monsters Inc. on Disney Plus, they started just a Disney Plus original series. It's I think Monsters at Work, and he does voices for it. So
Running Scared with 1986. And that had Gregory Hines, who was a big dancer.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, it's about cops. I think they're in Chicago, and yeah, it's an old one. But yeah, Gregory Hines was kind of an actor back then. Not as much, but you know.
I like DeVito. Not a huge. I don't remember ever seeing Billy Crystal in anything that I was blown.
I think you have to be my age to remember Billy Crystal being somebody. Now his voice is pretty known, but you know. Okay, all right. So wrap us up.
All right.
We got another good show.
Show's taking us home.
All right. So for all of our news and reviews, be sure to visit our website at beentherewatchthat.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at BTWTPod. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Been There, Watch That. All of our episodes are hosted by Anchor.fm.
Next week, Throw Your Mama from a Train.
Throw Your Mama.
Available on Tubi and Pluto if you want to watch along for free.
Nice. All right. Well, gentlemen, for myself, Joe, Justin, Been There, Watch That. Another week in the books. And we'll be back with Throw Mama from the Train.